Esther, can I hear from you, please? Was the problem solved? Can you access your work now? Hello, Esther, can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm here. Yes, come again.
Was the problem solved? Can you access your work now?
No.
Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't get back to me, so I thought it was worked on.
Sorry.
All right, I'll still communicate.
Okay.
And I hope they'll work on that issue.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think you have not yet moved that far because you could not access your work.
No.
Okay. So let me, just a minute, let me switch my gadget, then we can start. At least I wanted to get that report from each one of us to see how far we are moving and how best we can help each other.
Teacher Linda?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I had a silence and I wanted to inquire.
Okay. Welcome, everyone. Good morning once again. I'm so glad to meet you all for this session. In our primary class, because mathematics is, we have a lot to cover in our P6 class and a lot still to remember from the previous classes to this current class. And even to the classes that are ahead, we still have to carry the same ideas. So basically today in our mathematics, we are going to look at distance, time, and speed. They are three different terms and they move hand in hand. For example, if you want to realize that the three move hand in hand, you can not move to the shop and you find that you have not used the time and you have not used speed, because the speed, the rate at which you're going to move determines the time you take when traveling to the shop, to the kitchen, to anywhere. So first, we are going to first internalize distance. When they talk about distance, there should be a point from which someone is moving from to a given point. A distance can be measured in kilometers, in meters, and very many others. The sum of the units that we always, let me write something here, can be measured in kilometers and meters as well. That is for the case of distance. Then we also have a formula, because we've said that they all move hand in hand. We have a formula that we always use to find the distance. And at the end, we shall summarize all the formula together. When we are looking at the distance, in case you're given time and speed, because they all move hand in hand, when you're given time and speed, you can come up with the distance someone covered. So I want let me check here, someone to tell us, or someone who can define, or not even defining, someone who can tell us how can we get distance? How can we calculate for distance? Jesse, do you have an idea?
No.
Okay. How about Lynette?
I'm not sure, but I think speed times time.
You're not so sure?
Yes.
But I think you can still share some, tell us that one you're not sure of.
Speed times time.
Distance? Beg your pardon?
Speed times time.
Well, thank you. So you just needed to be sure because it is right. Thank you so much, Lynette. So for us to get distance, this is the formula we use. Distance equals to speed. Speed times time. We can use letter D to stand for distance, capital D. Then we can use capital S to stand for speed and capital T to stand for time. So that is distance. When you're looking for distance, we can use this formula here to calculate for distance. In case they talk about how, the rate at which someone was traveling, the time this person used, from there we can pick distance. Then let us see, let us note, I hope we've noted that one down. I want us to summarize the whole of it at once, then we can see some of these questions here. But still we can have one question here. Let me put it here. Let me assume John traveled. John took 4 hours to cover a distance. John took 4 hours to cover a distance at a speed of 30 kilometers, at a speed of 30 kilometers per hour. So in this case, find the distance, So when you're given such a question, they're asking for distance. This is where we apply the knowledge. This is where we apply the formula from. Yes, Lynette, your hand is up.
You missed the word cover.
Okay, thank you. John took hours to cover a distance. Thank you, Lynette. When you find such a question, this is where we can apply the formula from that states distance equals to speed times time. But before we look at such a number, let us first see speed and how, so that we are in position to identify what speed is, the units for speed and the units for time in case you meet time. This number, you can note it down. We are going to come back to it. So we've so far got one formula that is for distance. Then let us see also, let us first go to speed now before we work out that number. The next we have time here, because we are also going to look at time, and time is measured in, someone tell us, what do you expect will come for the case of time? What could be the time? How, which units could come with time? Which units could come with time? Yes, Esther. Jesse, which units can come with time? In case someone is talking about time, I used 3 words. How can someone describe the time they've used? A time can be described in terms of minutes, in times, yes, Jesse, your hand is up.
It's a second.
Seconds, good, thank you so much. Time can be measured in seconds, it can be measured in minutes. What else? Your hand is still up. Oh, it is down now. Lynette, what else? Because you may find that this time you may talk about the seconds. What else, Lynette?
Hours.
Hours, wonderful. So we can describe time can come with hours. It can be in hours. It can be in seconds. It can also be in. It can also be in hours, seconds, and minutes. But when we are dealing with time, that is under distance, time, and speed, basically we call it may come in seconds, but when still we are going to see numbers where they may tell you he used 30 minutes to travel from the road to their home. So we are going to see very many numbers. Then after time, we also have this here. We shall also look at speed. And for speed is measured in kilometers per hour, like you're seeing it here. Here, kilometers per hour. Can be measured in kilometers per hour. It can be measured in meters per hour. It can be measured in meters per second. So it varies. For speed, the reason is we have per here, like we have kilometers, we say kilometers per hour. It's because we get speed by dividing the distance by time. That's how we get speed. Speed is got by dividing distance by time. That's why you find that for the units for distance are kilometers, and units for hours are, sorry, for time are hours, and they can be seconds. So that's why when we are find the unit for speed comes as kilometer per hour. kilometer per hour, this is kilometer divided by an hour, because we cannot divide kilometer per hour and we get we can get an answer there, like maybe you get kilometer hour, so it remains the way it is and it comes out as kilometer per hour. So let's go back to distance now. Let us first go back to distance. Let's first go back to distance. Let's first move back to distance and we look at this number here. Someone treat for us this number. Jesse, can you read that question for us?
John took 4 hours to cover a distance at the speed of 30 kilometers per hour. Find the distance.
Thank you. So when you meet such a question and they're asking you to find the distance, what comes in your mind? Come and identify. One, the formula for finding. We can put it here. So we say distance equals, who can remind us, Esther, how do we get distance?
Distance equals speed times time.
Thank you so much. So we write the formula there. We write it as distance equals speed times time. So that's the formula we are going to use. Yes. After knowing the formula, then you can come here. You go back to your question and check what have they given you. Jonah took 4 hours to cover a distance. What are those 4 hours standing for? Who can guess? Yes, Jesse, your hand is up.
Yeah, that's all time.
They are standing for time. So time here, our time is, the time is 4 hours. 4 hours. Then we go back here. You read your question and complete. To cover a distance, we don't have the distance at a speed. So we have the speed. What's the speed there? Lynette, what's the speed? Yes, your hand is up.
30 kilometers per hour.
Thank you. The distance, the speed is 30 kilometers per hour. So after getting all that information from the question, they are saying find the distance. And how do we get distance? Distance is got by multiplying speed times time. So we shall come here and say our distance equals, yes, what should we write here? Esther, what should we write here? We are substituting in the formula. So what should we write, Esther?
30 kilometers per hour.
Beg your pardon?
30 kilometers.
Yeah, 30 kilometers per hour times, what's the time, Esther?
4 hours.
4 hours. Thank you. Times the 4 hours. But remember, for the time, when you're getting distance, and we mentioned the units for distance, we have kilometers, we have meters, but not kilometers per hour. So you find that you have hours and hours. When you have per, it means that the 30 kilometers were divided by 1 hour. So here, what we do next here, so what we do in this case, we shall set our distance. Let me change the ink. Our distance will equal to the 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers out of, because per is dividing, yes, out of our four, that is 4 hours. So from here, that's when we can go away with, from here, this is where we can go away with hour, because hour divide by hour, the hours go cross by each other, because we find that you have hour here and hour here, so we have 30 kilometers. So from here, since the hour has been crossed by the hour here, we've divided 1 hour divided by 1 hour, it goes away. So we shall remain with our distance. Distance equals to 30 kilometers. Let me first erase this part here. So here we shall remain with 30 kilometers. Times the 4 here, because this was 4 hours. So our distance will equal to 30 kilometers times 4. What do we get? Someone, yes, Jesse?
I get 120.
Thank you. So we get 120 kilometers. So that's how we get distance. And that's how we go with hours, because you find that we had hours. That's how we go with hours, and we remain with only 1 unit for distance. Yes, Lynette, you have a question about distance? We try out another number, because you may be given a fraction.
Yes.
Okay. Esther, you're saying something about this?
No.
Yes?
No.
No, is everything well?
I got it.
Okay. Lynette, do you have a question here?
No.
Anyone with a question before we move on? So we have a question here. Let me put the question here. We try it out. There is a question here. Are we ready?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. The question is here, so you can try it out. Erina traveled from point B to A at a speed of 120 kilometers per hour. And she used 45 minutes. She used 45 minutes. How far is town? How far is town? Is point A? How far is point A? Sorry. How far is point B from A? How far is point B from A? Someone has thought about it? Jesse, you're analyzing the question?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, Esther, are you analyzing the question as well?
Yes.
Lynette? Any idea generated so far, Lynette?
No.
Okay. I think we can work out this one together, then we shall handle different numbers till when we shall handle the numbers, different numbers. I'm going to send them in the WhatsApp group about distance, time, actually about distance only. Then the next engagement, we shall briefly go through time and speed. Then we can see how best we can calculate for speed and time as well. So in this case, if you have such a question, Lynette, can you read for us that question, please?
Erna traveled from point B to A at speed of 120 kilometers per hour, and she used 45 minutes. How far is point B from A?
Thank you, Lynette. So when you're having such a question, let us check what they've given us. We have distance. We are looking for distance, yes? Because they have told us how far. When they say how far is point B from A, how far? They simply want the distance. They want the distance from point B, from point A to point B. If let's assume if this was A and this was B, so they want the distance between these 2 points here. So how can we get distance? Jesse, distance? Family, find distance.
Speed times time.
Thank you. Distance equals speed times time. So after identifying that, come here and check. What have they given you? They've given you someone to identify what they've given us in the question. Esther, what have you seen so far in the question?
Speed.
Speed. So what's the speed there?
120 kilometers.
Beg your pardon?
120 kilometers.
120 kilometers per hour. What else is in the question, Lynette? Lynette, is there anything in the question as well? Jesse, your hand is up. Yes, please.
Yeah, there is time.
There is time. What have they given us for time?
It's 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Thank you. So when you look here, speed, kilometers per hour, it's there. Time is in minutes. So what do you think we need to do in this case? Can we maintain the minutes? No. What we are going to do is to change the minutes to hours because the speed determines what you're using, yes? If your speed has hours, that means your time, the time you have should be in hours. If your speed has seconds, the time you have should be in seconds. So in this case, we change 45 minutes to hours. That's what we do. So how do we change this? Remember, how can we do this? Someone to help us, how can we do this? How can we change minutes to hours? Yes, Jesse? Jesse, your hand was up. So what we do, we get, remember 1 hour. 1 hour. 1 hour is equivalent to 60 minutes. But remember, in this case, we have the minutes, we don't have the hours. So we can start with the minutes as well. We say 60 minutes are equivalent to 1 hour. 1 hour. So what will, if we have 60 minutes, then we shall say 1 minute is equivalent to, so here 1 minute will be equivalent to 1 minute will be equivalent to 1 out of 60. 1 out of 60 hours. So remember, we are looking for the 45. So we shall say 45 minutes will be equivalent to 1 out of 60 times 45. And the answer here will be hours. The answer will be in hours. So here we can divide. Which numbers can divide 45 and 60 at the same time? So here we can use, we can divide by 5. 60 divided by 5, what do we get? 6 divided by 5, we get 1. Remainder 1. 10 divided by 5, we get 2. So we move to the next. Then 4 divided by 5, we get 0, remainder 1, remainder 4, so it becomes 45. 45 divided by 5, the answer is 9. So we have 9, we can put it somewhere here. We have 9 out of 12. Which numbers can divide 9 and 12 at the same time? Okay, Shana, you're welcome. We're looking at distance, time, and speed, and today we are handling distance. Although you've joined us a little bit late, but we shall put this work in the group, you'll go through. So here we can use 3. By 3, we get 3. Then 12 divided by 3, we get answer 4. And there is no any other number that can divide both. So that means the time here we have a 3 and 4 here.
We are not seeing your work.
You're not seeing my work? Lynette, can you see my work?
Yes.
So I think it's just network. But I hope you get it back. It will be there on the screen. So here we have 1 times 3, we get 3. We get 3 out of 4 hours. So this is the time we have. The time is also in hours. So after converting that, after converting the minutes to hours, you come back here and substitute in the formula that says distance. So our distance will equal to, come here, what is the speed? The speed is 120 kilometers. The 120 kilometers per hour times the time, that is 3 out of 4 hours. So here we shall have our distance will equal to 120 kilometers out of the hour times 3 out of 4 hours. So from here we can have this hour and this one here. So we remain with 120 kilometers times 3 out of 4. So we can divide, we can use this 4 here to divide 120 kilometers. So we divide by 4 once. 4 goes in 1. 1 divided by 4, it is a 0, remainder 1. So it becomes 12. So 12 divided by 4, what do we get? 12 divided by 4, what do we get? Lindah, 12 divided by 4. Three, thank you. So we have a 3 here. Then 0 divided by 4 is a 0. So now we have our distance equals to 30 kilometers. 30 kilometers times, remember we remained with a 3 here, times 3. So our distance will equal to 30 kilometers times 3. What we get, you can try it somewhere. You arrange it vertically, 30 times 3. You arrange it vertically, it is easier to multiply. Okay, Shana, have you got the answer? Esther, have you got the answer? Okay, Shana, I beg your pardon?
You asked me to multiply 30 by 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Lynette has already got the answer. How about Esther? Have you got the answer?
Yes.
So share with us your answer.
90.
So here we've got 90 because 3 times 0, you get a 0. 3 times 3, you get 9. So what could be the answer here for our distance? The answer for distance, Lynette?
$90 kilometers.
Beg your pardon?
90 kilometers.
Thank you. So the distance here is 90 kilometers. The moment you put only 90, it means you've been doing something else. You need to reflect the units back because someone may say 90 dogs. Someone may fill that gap with the word dogs. So you need to also note that when you're working out such numbers. I'm going to put a number of them in our WhatsApp group. You answer them and I will like to receive the feedback on Wednesday. Today is Tuesday. Yeah, I want it tomorrow. So I'm giving you today and some time of tomorrow. On Wednesday, I go through your work and send feedback. I'll share my email there. Those ones who would love to share on my email, via email, I'll put the email in the WhatsApp group. Those ones who would love to share on WhatsApp, still my number was shared. It was the first number here, my WhatsApp number. The number is here, 0757372319. That's the WhatsApp number. Feel free to send your work there before the end of Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Before the end of tomorrow, make sure your work is already sent. Otherwise, unless you have a question, I would like to say bye-bye to everyone and wish you a beautiful morning. Unless there is a question, I can respond to it before we move on. Esther, do you have a question? Yeah, it's okay. You can send the work on the email. Someone is asking, you can put it there. It's okay, I'll go through it. Lynette, anyone with a question?
I was meaning you to send the work on email because right
By
now
your
there's...
email?
Oh?
By your email, you share your email with me. Send it in the chat. Then I can send you the work. Put your email in the chat so that I can have it and send the work.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you put it in our WhatsApp group. I'll visit it and send the work via email. You will be receiving it. Otherwise, I wish you a nice day. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for attending. Thank you for attending. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have a nice day.